Good day everyone. My name is Ejerofil Piang and I'm gonna discuss about the modes of management of substance abuse. Now let's get to know about the DDAPTP program. DDAPTP or the Dangerous Drugs Abuse Prevention and Treatment Program is a specialized initiative under the Department of Health's Office for Health Services and Development. It serves as the central office responsible for directing, coordinating, and monitoring national efforts related to the prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation of drug abuse. So the program focuses on addressing public health issues linked to the drug abuse by implementing comprehensive strategies and policies to reduce drug-related harm and support affected individuals. So DDAPT have PTP have two roles. So one or the first role is the policy formulation and review. It is responsible for creating and revising policies, developing strategies, and enhancing partnership to ensure the development or the Department of Health effectively carries out its mandates related to drug abuse prevention and control. The second role is program leadership. DDAPTP leads the development, execution, and assessment of DOH plans, programs, and procedures focused on the prevention of drug abuse as well as the treatment and rehabilitation of those affected by drug addiction. Proceeding to the five pillars of the program. First is the drug supply reduction. Sa drug supply reduction, it focuses on eliminating or minimizing the availability of illegal drugs through various strategies. Letter A, law enforcement. In law enforcement, it involves policing activities such as raids, arrests, and surveillance aimed at disrupting drug production, distribution networks, and trafficking operations. Letter B, regulatory compliance, ensures that pharmaceutical companies, healthcare providers, and other entities adhere to laws and regulations to prevent the diversion of legal drugs to the illegal market. Letter C, judicial and legislative measures, involves creating and enforcing laws and policies that define drug offenses and penalties, support prosecution efforts, and provide frameworks for international cooperation in drug control. Number 2 is drug demand reduction. Drug demand reduction, it focuses on minimizing individuals' desire and need for drug use. It includes various strategies aimed at preventing drug abuse, treating those who are addicted, and understanding drug use dynamics. Letter A, policy formulation. Here, creating law regulations and policies that deter drug use and support prevention and treatment initiatives. Letter B, preventive education programs. Implementing educational initiatives in schools, communities, and workplaces to raise awareness about the dangers of drug use and teach skills to resist peer pressure and make healthy choices. Letter C, treatment and rehabilitation programs. Dito naman is providing medical and psychological support to individuals suffering from drug addiction, helping them recover and reintegrate into society. And last is in letter D, research. Dito, conducting studies to understand the causes of drug abuse, effective prevention methods, and innovative treatments to continually improve drug demand reduction efforts. And number 3, we have the alternative development. It is a strategy aimed at reducing and eventually eliminating the cultivation of marijuana by providing sustainable rural development and alternative livelihood programs. The key objectives are, number 1 is promoting sustainable rural development, in which it focuses on enhancing the socio-economic conditions of rural communities to reduce their dependence on marijuana cultivation. Next is alternative livelihood programs. Focuses on introducing and supporting other viable income generating activities such as agriculture, crafts, and or tourism to replace marijuana farming. and long-term elimination of marijuana cultivation. So, whereas it helps in achieving a permanent reduction in marijuana production by addressing the root causes of its cultivation through comprehensive development initiatives. And number 4, civic awareness and response. So, dito, it aims to educate the public about the dangers of drug use and encourage social action against it. So, this also involves creating and distributing information, education, and communication. So, materials to inform people and promote a drug-free lifestyle. So, the fifth pillar is the regional and international cooperation. So, sabi dito, it aims to build partnership with various agencies worldwide. So, this involved adhering to treaties in which complying with international agreements to ensure coordinated efforts. Also, we have the formulating agreements. So, creating new accords to address common challenges and goals, and also conducting tie-up projects. So, collaborating on joint initiatives for shared benefits, and also we have the attending foreign conferences, participating in global forums to exchange knowledge and strategies, and exchanging drug reports, sharing information on drug trends and countermeasures, and next is hosting study tours and field visits. So inviting international counterparts to observe and learn from local practices. And last is sharing of best practices. So disseminating successful strategies and methods across borders for mutual improvement. So proceeding sa vision and mission. So the vision of this program is a drug-free Philippines, which reflects to the country's aspiration to eliminate drug abuse and its negative impacts on society. Also, the mission is to lead in the implementation of a unified and rational health response in the country's drug abuse prevention and control. Aligned with the Philippine Health Agenda means that the government aims to coordinate and oversee a comprehensive and sensible approach to preventing and controlling drug abuse. So, this approach is integrated with the broader goals of the Philippine Health Agenda, ensuring that drug abuse prevention and control efforts are consistent with the overall health objectives of the nation. So, proceeding sa objectives ng DDA-PTP program, no? Number 1 is to develop a more effective leadership and governance for drug abuse, prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation. Number 2, to implement strategies for advocacy, health promotion, and drug abuse prevention. Number 3, to ensure provision of comprehensive and integrated healthcare services in treatment and rehabilitation centers or TRCs and community-based settings. Number 4, to strengthen information systems, M&E, research, networking, and linkaging. So, next one is the program components. So, we have in the number 1, leadership and governance for drug abuse prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation. So, it focuses on establishing robust leadership structures and governance frameworks to enhance the effectiveness of drug abuse prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation initiatives. So, number 2, strategies for advocacy. So, in here, health promotion and drug abuse prevention. So, it involves creating and executing plans to raise awareness, promote health, and prevent drug abuse through various advocacy and promotional activities. Number 3, comprehensive and integrated healthcare services. So, it ensures that treatment and rehabilitation centers or yung TRCs and community-based settings offer holistic and integrated healthcare services to address the diverse needs of individuals undergoing treatment and rehabilitation. And number 4, information system, M&E research, networking, and linkaging. So, it aims to enhance data collection, monitoring, and evaluation, research capabilities, and the establishment of networks and linkages to improve program outcomes and collaboration. And number 5, database and information system. So, dito, it focuses on developing and maintaining a centralized database and information system to manage and analyze data. related to drug abuse prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation. And number 6, development of model programs. So it involves creating exemplary programs that can be replicated and scaled up based on best practices and successful strategies in drug abuse prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation. And number 7, monitoring and evaluation. So it establishes a systematic process for tracking and assessing the performance and impact of drug abuse prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation programs to ensure they meet their goals and objectives. And number 8, we have the research. So conduct studies and investigations to generate evidence-based insights and inform policy and program development in the field of drug abuse prevention and treatment. And number 9, linkage or networking. So it promotes collaboration and partnership among various stakeholders, including government agencies, non-governmental organizations, and community groups to strengthen efforts in drug abuse prevention and treatment. And we have the number 10, financing. So sabi dito, it ensures adequate funding and financial management for drug abuse prevention, treatment, and rehabilitation programs. Also, exploring various funding sources and strategies to sustain these initiatives. And for the target population or client ng program is we have the older persons, working age group, and adolescents and school children. And for that, next one is for the treatment programs naman. We have the treatment programs for substance use disorder typically involve a range of therapeutic approaches, including individual, group, or family therapy sessions. So, they emphasize understanding addiction, achieving sobriety, and preventing relapse. So, these programs offers different levels of care and settings such as outpatient, residential, or inpatient, tailored to individual needs. Next is withdrawal therapy, so also known as detoxification or detox. So it aims to help individuals stop taking an addictive substance safely and efficiently, depending on the severity of the addiction. So it also can be conducted on an outpatient basis or may require hospitalization or residential treatment. So the primary goal is to manage withdrawal symptoms and support the individual through the process of becoming a drug-free individual. And next is behavior therapy. So it is a type of psychotherapy commonly used in drug treatment programs. It involves working with a therapist or counselor to develop coping strategies for drug cravings, prevent relapse, and address issues like job, legal problems, and relationships. It can be conducted individually, with family, or in groups, and may involve addressing other mental health conditions while also helping family members develop better communication skills and support networks. So next is the self-help groups. So it is a communities where individuals facing similar challenges such as addiction come together to provide mutual support and encouragement. So they often follow a structured program like the 12-step model used by Alcoholics Anonymous to address issues like the addiction. So these groups offer a sense of belonging, understanding, and shared experiences which can help reduce feelings of shame and isolation, thus aiding in recovery. Therapists or counselors can assist in finding suitable self-help groups either locally or online. And last one, we have the ongoing treatment. So it refers to the continued support and care individuals receive after completing their initial treatment for issues like addiction or yung mental health concerns. So this can include regular appointments with a counselor, participating in self-help programs, or attending group sessions to prevent relapse and maintain progress. So also seeking help promptly if a relapse occurs is crucially for ongoing recovery. So the issue of addiction, especially drug addiction, is in the Philippines is very concerning. But with the continuous efforts and initiatives by the government, we can somehow manage to provide a solution for this. all we have to do is to keep the consistency in implementing these counter actions to support our vision of becoming a drug-free Philippines. So that's all for my part, and thank you for watching.